This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. To block this call and all future calls, you may begin speaking now.
Elliot.
What's going on, Chuck?
All is well. Are you ready to record?
I'm already recording.
Okay, great. Okay, LFTG audience, this is Chuckie Taylor, Gomai Samel again. First of all, I want to thank LFTG outlet Elliot Carter for permitting me to be able to engage the audience, the Liberian people, and to sort of deconstruct this propaganda and narrative that has existed for so long. So, I'm establishing a system. You have my information. When you write me, I will put you on the email, and I will allow 10 questions to be asked. There are very few calls that I will make because I want to make sure to preserve this on record. I will no longer allow propagandists to capture the narrative. I want to be able to record these responses and questions. But if I had something to hide, I would not be going to this length. So that within itself demonstrates that it's time to move past what many have been saying for so long. Imagine someone saying that I'm worse than Hitler. That comment alone, it leaves me speechless and without any real response but to say it's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. So, that is the system that I have in place. The other factor is you can call in the LFTG, try to get these questions put forward to me. But I'll just say this to the Liberian people. I was born in 1977. Let me say that one more time. I was born in 1977 on February 12th. How old would that make me in 1990? It's a clearly established record that I was living in Florida at the time of the height of the war, where most of the gross abuses took place. How could I have helped to launch a war in Sierra Leone? But this is some of the ignorance that is just that is intermingled with the propaganda. But I don't think that this is by chance. I actually think this is by intent. I actually think that there's a mens rea attached to this agenda, but no more. My openness will remain that way, and I'm prepared to face any questioning. Another important fact, check your BBC interview. I made it clear to the Liberian people, my name is not on the Truth and Reconciliation list for those recommended for the most gross abuse during Liberia's war. What does it tell you? During Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's government, if I had committed anything close to abuse, if I had anything to do with Sierra Leone, you don't think that they would have wanted to indict me? They were going after everybody. So this alone deconstructs much of what people have been saying. Let's cut the nonsense out. Let's come to reality. But I will say this. For those who have been traumatized during the war, I pray for your peace and for your healing. And if there's anything that I can do to contribute to that, I'm more than open to do so. But let's move past these lies. Let's move past the ignorance. Okay? And let's really talk facts. Because the son has paid for the sins of the father for 18 years. The first place we got to start out with is, what case did the government put forward? And what I'm alleging, is it factual? You have access to PACER. You have access to the docket entry and the page numbers. Let's start there first. Because if the U.S. government chose to bring forward that case, they believe that was the best one to prove. If I was eating babies, imagine what you people are saying. Eating babies? Are you serious? But this is the ignorance, the lies, and the hatred y'all have for Charles Taylor. Don't transfer that on to me.
So you're saying that's completely false? You and General Butt Naked had nothing to do with raping women and stealing babies and eating them?
Well, you got to understand something. First of all, there was a 3-year Truth and Reconciliation Committee that investigated the most gross abuses. Every Liberian was capable of giving testimony, free of any intimidation during the Taylor regime. How come that didn't come out? You don't think that those on the Truth and Reconciliation were appointed by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf weren't interested in finding out dirt on Chuckie Taylor? Let's be serious. This is what I'm talking about. This is the level of propaganda that is taking place. The level of ignorance and no disrespect to anybody, stupidity. But let's bring it down a notch. If I had something to hide, if I believed that I did anything of that nature, I wouldn't be making myself open to dialogue. I'm no fool. Far from it. And that's what you guys were hoping for. My detractors and Charles Taylor's adversaries were hoping for an idiot, a fool, someone inarticulate, someone who wasted their time in prison. But I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm here, and I'm standing 10 toes.
All right, question. Were you locked up in America and the CIA freed you and sent you back to Liberia?
Again, this is the confusion of factors. Charles Taylor escaped from Plymouth federal facility, not me. That was in the 80s. I was born in 1977. You see some of the propaganda? They're confusing their facts.
Yeah.
But this is part of what's going on. This is the ignorance and stupidity I'm talking about. This in fact, our people, Liberian people, have the tendency to exaggerate and lie. And this is a typical example of it. So yeah, we're not going to let this happen anymore. I'm articulate, highly intelligent. I didn't waste any time in here. And the only reason why I didn't secure a bachelor's degree in here is because the funding wasn't available for me to do so. I'm sorry to disappoint you all. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
How much involvement did America have in the war?
Well, listen, there's enough open source research to take place for that question to be answered.
This call is from a federal prison.
So one source. But I don't want to get ahead of the interview. I just wanted to address this quickly to let the LFTG audience know you have access to me at any time, both on phone and email. And I'm prepared to engage and address everything. No more. You guys have the narrative, no more. You're not going to steal my life from me. And my apology is a sincere one to the Liberian people. I believe I have a genuine contribution to make, but it has to be done after we confront these lies. You all have a good day.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Let me borrow your pen. Let me borrow your pen real quick.